Hey, good evening, YouTube. Figured I'd make a video of a recent acquisition. This is an Atwater Kent Model 20. This is the big box version. There is a 20C, which is in a smaller cabinet. Basically, it's the same radio, but the controls are closer together and the cabinet is smaller. It's the 20C is the compact version, I guess. But anyway, this is, as you could tell, it's a 3-dial radio. It's a 5-tube set. This is the first, second, and third tuning stage, antenna loading, or antenna length control. It's a 3-position switch, power switch, RF gain, audio gain. These control the voltage on the filaments of the tubes inside. I'm using this with this rather ugly but functional Atwater Kent Model E speaker, which is sort of an interesting design. It has this big cone here. As you can see, it's got a hole in it, which has been patched. It's got this big cone, but it's not attached to anything. It just floats around in there. If you remove this, there's actually just a felt, like a gasket almost, around the edge of the paper, and that's it. It doesn't make contact. It's very strange. It's a pin drive design. There's a coil behind the cone, and it drives this metal reed, which is bolted. It actually has a little screw in it with a nut, screw with a nut right there, that drives this center cone, and the whole thing makes sound. It's actually not a bad sounding speaker, especially for its age. Cabinet's not in bad shape. It's not perfect. The front, as you can see, has some scratches which have been touched up, I'm guessing with magic marker. I may or may not repaint it. I haven't really made up my mind quite what I'm going to do with it yet. Pop the lid on it. This is actually most of why I bought it. Atwater Kent. It's probably not going to focus, but it's a Model 20. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You use only quarter ampere tubes. So this is the inside. First, second, third RF tuning stages. The tubes, it's got it came with 5 good tested Cunningham CX301s, which is mostly why I bought it, because I got it cheap, and these tubes are worth what I paid for the radio. The problem with this, these 2 cans that you can see behind the tubes, those are the interstage audio transformers. They are both bad. I've kind of hot-wired around them with resistors and capacitors to get it functional, but it loses a lot of gain, so it's not as loud as it should be, but it does function. But anyway, enough of my rambling. Oh, and when I've got it powered off, please forgive the mess on my bench here, but this thing here, it's a battery eliminator. It gives me A, B, and C voltages. This one only needs the A and B voltage. So, yeah. But those are very convenient if you have a number of battery sets, rather than hooking up strings of batteries to get 90 or 135 volts and another 6-volt battery and all that. So, without further ado, this is the audio. But what's interesting, if you adjust the RF amplifier, it also changes the volume.
They can't read where the next fireworks show is in the local paper.
And it gets distorted. But the reason you need both of these is, let me see if I can tune down to a station at the lower end of the dial. 0 to 100 scales, so you have no idea where what the frequency readout is. You kind of learn this trial and error. But I know there's one around here. Ah, there we go. That awful noise is oscillation. So you have to carefully control the RF level so it doesn't go into feedback, but give it enough to where it pulls in stations. Kind of an interesting balance here. Well, anyway, that's enough of listening to all that noise. So anyway, that's a 3-dialer set, and that's basically how you operate them. You kind of go between the controls to tune your stations. If you really want to keep an eye on where you're going with it, you have to create a station log where, you know, dial 1, dial 2, dial 3, your tuning number here, you know, according to the readout, what position you have this at, because changing this adjusts the position you need to be on this, and you can collect your call letters. So if you want to listen to a particular station, you bring out your sheet, you dial the radio to where it needs to be, and fine-tune it in, and away you go. So anyway, this was convenience, you know, mid-1920s. This radio was made 1925, 1926. As you can probably guess, the single-dial controls were a big improvement in convenience, and a lot of people really liked them for obvious reasons. You have one control that you have to adjust, and you're done with it. So anyway, here you go, radio from the mid-1920s in functional shape. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask down in the comment section below. Thank you.